students. We are then now starting with our new syllabus, and the first topic that we're going to cover is the number system. You are very familiar with this topic. You've been doing this all your life, so we are just going to revise actually all the different number systems. But it's important that we should understand how it works. So I'm going to draw a picture now here for you so that you can see how the one set fits into the other one. The first set that you've learned is the set of natural numbers, which is then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can say that natural numbers, N stands for natural numbers. Then we also know that you can count 0, 1, 2, 3, and that is then the set of whole numbers. So N0 is the set of whole numbers. You'll find this in some of the textbooks. Then when you came in grade 8, you learned about integers. Integers are positive and negative whole numbers. So for instance, -1, 2, 3, -4, that's the set of integers. They call it the Z set, and this is then the set of integers. Then we have a set which we call rational numbers. Rational numbers. Now a rational number is a number that you can write as a fraction. So rational numbers is then fractions. Rational numbers are fractions. But we also have numbers which are not rational. We cannot write them as a fraction. We have to round them off. And the moment when you do that, we call this set the set of irrational numbers. Irrational numbers. And examples of irrational numbers is like the number pi. You can find it on your calculator. You have to round that number off. And then the numbers inside square roots, except for the square numbers. So that will be the square root of 2, the square root of 3, the square root of 5. They will all be examples of rational numbers. The square root of 1 and the square root of 4 and the square root of 16 gives you whole numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's why they are not rational. And then this whole set is included in the set of real numbers. The R stands for real numbers, numbers that exist. We find unreal numbers as well. An example of that will be whenever you have a negative in a root. This is an example of an unreal number. It doesn't exist. You can't get it. So that's unreal numbers. So this is just an introduction to show you how this number system works. Then the next important things that we should look at is prime numbers. And prime numbers are numbers which has only two factors, one in itself. One is not prime and 2 is your only even prime number. So the set here is 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. They are all examples of prime numbers. You only have two factors. One is not prime and 2 is your only even prime number. Then we also have the set of square numbers. What is square numbers? This is when you square a number. So it is 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared. And this is then 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100. That is your set of square numbers. We also have a set which we call cube numbers. And that is when you cube a number. So this is 1 cube, 2 cube, 3 cube. You cube those numbers. And you can do this on your calculators. So on your calculator, there is a button x squared, and there's also this button x to the power of 3. So this is the button that you can use to find those answers. And this is then the set of 1, 8, 27, 64, 125. Those are all cube numbers. So these are numbers that we should know. The opposite of prime numbers is the set of composite numbers. And that is then numbers which have more than one factor. Okay, so now you can look in your textbooks, and we start then on page 2, and there you will see there's a summary of all these numbers. This is what I've drawn for you now, what you have there. Then on page 3, we are looking at factors. Remember, a factor is a small little thing, something that can divide into another number. And so, for instance, for an example, if I have the number 18, then the factors of 18 will be 1, 18, 2, 9, 3, and 6. I do this with my calculator to find those numbers. So you try to divide it by 1 and by 2 and by 3, and you find your numbers there. Prime factors will now be factors which are prime factors. So in this list, the 2 and the 3 are prime numbers. So they are prime factors now of the number 18. Another question that I'd like to ask you is the lowest common multiple. Look at that. Multiply. Multiply. So it's something that gets bigger. So if I either have the two numbers 6 and 8, for instance, what will be the multiples? 6, 12, 18. And this is 8 and 16. So we still don't have a number, so you'll have to continue until you find a number that both can divide in. And that will be the number 24. That is then the lowest common multiple here. Another thing that I could ask you is the highest common factor. Look at that one again. Factor. A factor is a small little thing, so I divide. Something that can divide into both. So this is where you use this method, and you divide with prime numbers then there. And the number 8, which will be 4 and 2, 2, 2, 1. So the highest common factor now here, the common ones that we can take out here is 2. This is the only common one. So the highest common factor here is 2. So that is what we find on page 3. So now we're looking at the first exercise, which is try now 1. Try now 1. Now you can see they love a question like this, where they give you a set of numbers and you have to find the answers in that set. And that's where we refer now back to our number system. So the first one there is a multiple of 8. Now a multiple of 8 will be 24. So the first one there is 24. Out of the list, I look at the list. The next one is a square number in that list, and that would be 25. That is your square number. The next one, a cube number, that is 27, if you go back to our previous information. Then 2 prime numbers. So you have to look which of these numbers are prime. Testing them with your calculator, which of them have factors. The prime numbers will be 23 and 29. They are your prime numbers. Then number E, a factor of 156. A factor of 156. So there we have to find, so there you'll have to use your calculator to try and find those answers there. And the factors of number E, we have to find 1 out of this list. So we list all those factors again. The answer is then number 26. Number 26. But you'll just find that by dividing by 1, by 2, by 3 on your calculator. There is no other formula to do that. Then number F says the square root of 784. So there we just again use this button on our calculators to find those answers. And the answer is 28. So you can see, you can just use your calculators. Both your papers will be with calculators this year, so you must make sure that you know how to use your calculators. And then the next one says two numbers whose product is 5, 6, 7. Again, there's no rule. I'll have to use my list and divide it. So I will say 5, 6, 7, divide by 23, divide by 24 until I find those two factors. And it is then 21 times 27. That is the answer for that one. That is your answer there. Right, question 2. Now we say the factors of 18. There's again that factors of 18. They want us now to list the factors of 48. So again, I like to start with 1 and then immediately write the other factor as well, because then you know you've got the whole list there. 224, 3 times 16, and then 4 times 12, but there will be more, 6 and 8. They should also fit in there. That is then the list of factors. Now at number B, they say, when written as a product of its prime factors, write 48 now as a product of its prime factors. That means we must divide with prime numbers. So the best method is to use this one, which you learned in grade 8, so that you will divide with prime numbers. So I start with the smallest prime number, which is 2. So this is a product of prime factors. So there's 1, 2, 3 here, 2 to the power of 4 times 3. You can also write it like this, 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3. This is a product of prime factors. So I'm multiplying with prime numbers. And the next one that I have to do this with is 504, the number 504. So again, we are going to divide with prime numbers. So I start with 2, the smallest one. It is then 252. Can divide by 2 again. 1, 2, 6. 6 will go in this one 63 times. So now I have to take the next prime number, which is then 3. So 3 divides into 63 21 times, and 3 divides into 21 7 times, and 7 1. So this is then the number with prime factors. So it is 2 to the power of 3 times 3 to the power of 2 times 7. That is then this one as a product of its prime factors, that you will write it like that. Okay, question C part now here. Find the highest common factor, HCF, a factor. Factor is something that can divide into those numbers. So I need now to take the highest common factor between these two numbers. What is common? So if we look now here, this is 2 to the power of 4 and 2 to the power of 3. So 2 to the power of 3 will definitely be one of our factors. Can you see? So here I've got 3 2's, and here I also have 3 2's. And then there's 1 3 here, and then 1 3 here. This 3 and this 3 I can also take. So the highest common factor now here is then 2 to the power of 3 times 3. And the answer for that one is 24. Highest common factor, the factor that will divide into both of them. At C2, they ask you now to find the LCM. Multiple, the lowest common multiple. So now we need to multiply to get those answers. So you can give the multiples of 48. Continue. So you just say on your calculator 48 times 1, 48 times 2, 48 times 3. And then we also have to get the LCM of 504. So you will also keep on getting multiples there. Now the answer for that one is this one. So it is 1008. There is also a second method to do it, which I think you've learned. And this is then when we go back to our prime factors and you take the highest one out of each one. You can also do it in that way. So here we will take out then the 2 to the power of 4, and then we'll take this one and this one. So we can find the LCM also in that way. So it is then 2 to the power of 4 times 3 to the power of 2 times 7. Make sure that you know you can use any of the two methods and you will still get the answer of 1008. You still get that answer there. Right, the next one is question 3. From the list of numbers, can you see it's again in that way that they ask it, find one integer. Now again, if you look at our picture right at the beginning, what is an integer? An integer is a positive or negative whole number. If you look at that list, the square root of 36 is 6. So that's why that is our integer. And then irrational number. What is an irrational number again? A number which is rounded off. And that would be pi or the square root of 14. That is the two numbers that you'll have to round off. So they are irrational numbers. Question 4. The factors of 4 are 1, 2, and 4. Write all the factors of 49. Now, we've been doing this now a few times. 1 and 49 and 7. Those are your factors there. And the next one is the factors of 12, which is 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. That is your factors. Now there at number C, there is a list, a table, which I have to complete. So we have to give all the factors C, where you had to make a table about the factors. So this is for the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, up to 16. So all that you had to do is to count how many factors does each one have. So 1 has got 1, 2 has got 2, 3, 2. Remember, all the prime numbers only have 2 factors. 4 has got 3, 5, 2, because it's a prime number. 6, the factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6, so that's 4. 7 is also prime, so it's 2 again. 8, 1, 2, 4, and 8, so that's 4. 9, 1, 3, and 9. 10, 1, 2, 5, and 10, it's 4 again. 11 is a prime number, so 2 factors. 12 we've seen already here, it is 6 factors. 13 is 2. 14 will be 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 7, and 14, so that's 4. 15, 1, 3, 5, and 15, and 16, 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. So this one has got 5 factors. So that's how we complete that table there. Then number D, we have to give the special name, and we've already said that your prime numbers, which are now these numbers are my prime numbers here, and they only have 2 factors. So the answer is prime numbers. prime numbers. D1. Right, D2. Now we ask who has an odd number of factors. And the answer for that one is square numbers. Square numbers have an odd number of factors. So here we can look at 1, 4, and 9. They are our odd numbers here, with an odd number of factors that we have there. Then we say at number E, find a number between 30 and 40 that has exactly 2 factors. That means it must be a prime number between 30 and 40. And that is then 31 or 37. They are the 2 prime numbers there in that row. And then find a number between 30 and 40 which has an odd number of factors, and that means it should be a square number now there, and that is the number 36. The next one is question 5. A number which has only 2 different prime factors is called a semi-prime. So it means your factors must be prime numbers, and then we call it a semi-prime number. So now we have to show 33, 34, and 35, that they are semi-prime. So 33 is 3 times 11. Those 2 numbers are prime numbers. 34 is 2 times 17. They are also prime numbers. And then 35 is 5 times 7. That makes them semi-prime. Number B. Find the smallest semi-prime number. And I think the smallest one, well, you'll have to take your prime the numbers. So I'll look at 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one is 6 because it's 2 by 3. It's a 2 by 3. And then find 2 consecutive numbers. Consecutive means they follow each other. Between 80 and 90, which are semi-prime. 2 numbers where we have, now there's no method here, this is error and trial. You'll have to error and trial until you get 85 and 86. 85 and 86. 5 is 5 times 17. 15 and 86 is 2 times 43. These numbers are all prime numbers. So these are now semi-prime because their factors give them, when you multiply them, they are both prime numbers. The next exercise is now try now 2. Now here, this is calculator skills, and the important thing here is to use extra brackets. Otherwise, you're going to get the wrong answers. Number A says 6 minus the square root of 11 to the power of 3. Now, the brackets will be very important. So I want you to use your calculator. And we will say brackets 6 minus the square root. Look for this button there, the square root of 11. Close the bracket. And this is then to the power of 3. Now there's this button. That's the one that you're going to use. X to the power of 3. Make sure that you close your bracket. 6 minus the square root of 11. Close. And then to the power of 3. And the answer is 19.322. There, they say also it must be to 3 decimal places. Now there's your decimal places, 1, 2, 3. So make sure that you give it to 3 decimal places. The second one is easy. It is 7.1 to the power of 3 plus 2.9 to the power of 3. Extra brackets inside. That's what you need to make sure that you get the correct answer. And then it's 19.552. Again, to 3 decimal places, we have to round it off. Question C, 7.7 divide by 3 plus the square root of 6.25. Again, there we have to put extra brackets there. So use your calculator now. 7.7 divide by brackets 3 plus the square root of 6.25 close the bracket is equal to, and the answer is 1.4. Some calculators have built-in brackets, but not all of them, so we must make sure how your calculator works. Then number D, 12 squared minus 4 cubed. So I immediately realize I'll have to put extra brackets around that one then there. And then it's the square root of 64 plus the cube root of 8. And again, I need extra brackets around that to get the correct answer there. So you can press enter now, brackets, 12 squared minus 4 to the power of 3, close the bracket, is equal to, and then divide by the square root of 64 plus the cube root of 8. And the answer is 8. Okay, so that's then calculator skill. The number system. This is try now 4, page 10, and we are changing vulgar fractions into decimals. So all that you do with your calculator is to say 2 divided by 5, and the answer is then 0.4. Right, number B, 7. That's right. That's how you're going to write it.
3 significant.
Yeah, 3 significant figures. If they don't say anything else, we go for 3 significant figures. Right, number C, 8 divided by 11. On your calculator, 0.73 exact, because we said 3 significant figures. So it's 7272. You can do this to show the recurring, or you have to say 0.727 because that is 3 significant figures. Remember, the 0 in the front does not count. So you start with the first number. This is your most significant figure, that first one, not the 0. You don't count that one. It's not included there. 3 and 2 over 7. 3.2, which is then 29. 3 significant. Yours is not wrong, and I'm just trying to get you used to that. So at this stage it's okay, but as I say, when we mark 3 significant figures. 2 divided by 5. Yeah, but it's an exact answer. This is, look, what they say at the front page is, if it is not exact, round it to 3. So this one was exact, so that's why we didn't change anything or do anything further there. Yeah, that's what we mean. So that one is also 3 significant figures. That one, but not all of them are going to be like that there. Right, now number 2. Give the following decimals to fractions. So now we're doing the opposite thing here. The first one is 0.5. So this is 5 out of 10 because there's one position there, a tenth there, and the answer is then half. You must change it now to a fraction. Okay, so it is correct, but it's not what we asked. Okay, Rumi, number B. This is then 6 out of 100. Which will be what? 3 out of? Right, number C. 2.008, yes. It's 2 and 8 over 1,000. There's 3 positions, so you put it 8 over 1,000, 1 over 125. 1 over 125. That's the answer then there. Right. Yeah, you must simplify. Yeah, you must simplify. Look, they say there is simplest form, but yes, they're not going to mark it correct if you don't simplify it. Remember, otherwise it's what we do in grade 5 to 7. Right, and then, now, 2 and number D then, 2 and 65. So we say it's 65 over 100. Now remember on your calculator that there's a button which says ABC, or there's a button which looks like this. Look at that one on your calculator. And that's a very nice one to use. So we say 65 ABC 100, or 65 with those two blocks. It's on the left-hand side of your calculator, and then it simplifies it automatically. So it's a nice button to use. What do you get? I get 13 over 20. 13 over 20. You shouldn't change. Sorry, you shouldn't change the 2. Remember, the 2 is a whole number. I think you changed the 2 as well. That's what you did there. Right, now number 3, write down the following as decimals. Now that sign, and this is what we're also going to look at today, this sign means it is out of 100. The moment when you see that, we're going to say 28 out of 100. That's what we're going to do. And now you can use exactly the same button to simplify this one here. 28. Yeah, 0.28. Okay, right, the next one, again, we divide with that 100. 0.083, Bronwyn, the next one, 0.605, the half, that's where it comes from. And then, okay, yeah, 0.008, E, 1.28, we divide by 100. All the time we divide by 100. And now we're looking at question 4. Change the following percentages to vulgar fractions. So again, we are seeing this sign, which means it's 78 over 100. And again, you can use that ABC buttons to simplify that. We must give it in the simplest form. And the next one, number B, look, it's 255 over 100, yes. But now you have to simplify it. It will give you an improper fraction, yes. So it's actually over 1,000, yes. 25.5. So 255 over 1,000. Okay, so give me your answer again. You were correct. Okay, 255 ABC 1,000 is equal to 51 over 200. Yeah, that was the answer. Right, 99%. Yeah, it remains like that, 99 over 100. The last one, so it's 6 over 100, which is 500. 6 over 1,000. Okay, yeah, you can use that. You can use that. 3 over 500. It is 6%. So, yeah, 0.6%. So it's, yeah, but then it's 0.006. No, it's 6 over 1,000. It's not 6%, it's 0.6. Okay, so let's just go back to that one. Look at this one, it says 0.6%. So that means I need to divide by 100, then I get 0.006, and that's where I came on that one. Okay, now people, we're looking today, the new lesson today is now about percentages. And we get 2 kinds of questions here. So you can just write this down in your book, like just make a short summary here, percentages. So the first one is when we see the percentage sign. And this always means out of 100. Whenever you see that sign, it's out of 100. You immediately write it like that. The second one is when we say find the percentage. Then we multiply with 100 over 1. When you must find that percentage. If you can just understand that already, there's a lot of marks involved here. Then we're also going to do finding the original quantity. Original quantities. Now to find the original quantity, this is reverse. They also call it reverse percentages. So that means I'm taking you all out to Casa Forno and we're going to eat pizzas tonight. I get the bill which says $2,000. Okay, but the question is now, what was it before tax of 15% was added? I don't know. So you have to, no, I provide you that the tax is 15%, but how do you go back to that original quantity? And this is what we're going to look at. So what we do is we subtract it from, we add it from 100%. If it's like tax, you add it. If it's like a decrease or a sale, you're going to subtract it, and then you reciprocal that fraction. Okay, but when we come to that, we'll look at that more intensively. And then the last one is here, which you also tend to forget, is finding the percentage increase. And that is then profit or loss, always on the cost price times 100 over 1. It's always on your original one. And what a lot of you do is you don't calculate that profit or loss. You just put the two numbers that you receive on top of each other. So this is the 4 things that we're going to look at now, important things on percentages. I think you're familiar with everything except number 3. That is then the new one that we're going to look at. Okay, let's look in our textbooks. On page 10, you will see there is then examples if you don't know. On page 11, expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. So this is now when we find that percentage. And what do? We times it with 100 over 1. So we're going to try now 5 orally. You don't need to do in your book. I'm going to do this one orally, and then we'll move to the books again. So try now 5. So use your calculator and do it together with me. The first one out of the second one. So it will be 20 out of 50 times 100 over 1. Finding that percentage. Okay, 40%.
Access to all your favorite local and international shows wherever you go? Here's how. Head to Showmax.com and click Try for free for 14 days. Enter your email and create password. Choose your plan and payment method that suits you and start watching. You just opened up a whole new world of non-stop entertainment. Stream online or download the Showmax app to watch on your mobile or tablet, anywhere, anytime. Visit Showmax.com now.
So we are busy with percentages, and we said the moment when you have to find a percentage, then we times with 100 over 1, and this is what we are busy with here. What's important is that your units should be the same. You can't work with different units, but if the units are the same, then it is very easy. So the first one is then 20 out of 50, and I times it with 100 over 1 to change it to percentages, and your answer is 40%, yes. So this is the method we are using here then. That's right. Okay, the next one, 34 minutes and 2 hours. So there we need to change those 2 hours also to minutes, which makes it then 120 minutes. Then I multiply with 100 over 1. You do this on your calculators. On your calculator, you press 34 times 100 is equal to divide by 120. Yes, and your answer is 28.3%. Yeah, but you can put the recurring one in this case in, or this is 3 significant figures, so both will be correct here. The next one, number C, again it is grams and kilograms, so it's 750 over 3,000 to change it to kilograms, hey. And the answer is, that sign must be there, hey. And then number D, 50 cents over $5 10%. Then for number D, 10%. Right, number 2. Nadine scored 46.7 out of 60 in a math test. What was her percentage, Kunrad? 78.3%. We just multiply with 100 over 1. And then in a school of 850 pupils, there are so many boys. What is the percentage of girls? 60%. So you got the boys to be 40%. And then you subtract it, so it's 60%. Always read carefully, or you could have subtracted first and then got the answer. But because they like to do it like this. And then lots of learners just give the boys or the wrong one then there. The next one is to finding a percentage of a quantity. This is now, try now 6. And I'm first going to just explain, you are very familiar with this. This is very easy, straightforward. We've been doing this. So number 1, we see now 4%. This is now try now 6, which the moment when I see this sign, it is 4 out of 100 of 50. Okay, and what is the answer there? 2%. Now 2 centimeters, because this time you're going to get a value, so it is 2 centimeters. So this is now the opposite of what we've been doing. Then 125% of 70, so now it will be more, because this percentage is more than 100. Yes, what did you get? Okay, she rounded it, but yes, that will now not be right, 87.5. Your papers are now going to say 3 significant figures, and that's why we do that. So your answer is not wrong, but the rounding, that's what we're looking for. You wouldn't have known that. Okay, and then Hans picks 24 kilos of fruit. He finds that 8% of it is rotten. Work out the mass of rotten fruit, so just 8%, 1.92 kilograms are. Number 3. In a class of 30 students, 70% have brown eyes, 10 have blue, and 20 have gray eyes. Calculate the number of each one. It's just that those calculations. Yes. 21 with brown eyes, 21, 3 with blue eyes, and 6 with gray eyes. Now, we're looking now at try now 7, and this is where we increase or decrease in a percentage. Now, all that you're going to do is, if I say, for instance, it's an increase of, there was the car, and it was increased by 15%, try now 7. Then we calculate 15% of the amount, which is 250,000. And then you have to add your answer, because that will be the new price. But you must read the question. Sometimes they ask, what is the increase and what is the new price? Yeah, the total. So we have to read that question then every time. Okay, so she says the increase is now 37,500. And the new price of the car, add it. I want you now to do number 7, 2, and 3. Just number 2 and 3. And then we're going to come to the original quantity, which is the difficult one, which we want to calculate here. Okay, so number 2 says, in a closing down sale, so it's a sale, so we reduce, that's why we're going to subtract now. Number 2. And it is then the 30% of the 350, but this time you also have to subtract the value then there. 7, 245. Yes. You subtract it because it's a sale. Then number 3, people who should get, okay, now we're at number 3A. The original price of a camera is 4,500. Find the new price when you increase it by 15%. 5175. Right, number B. Okay, number B. The original floor area of a flat is 85 square meters. Find the new floor if it is extended by 10%, meaning that we'll have to add. We need to add. So what is that one's answer? 10% of 85? 8.5. 93.5. We have a second method, and that is when you add the percentage and then just get the answer. You can also do it like that, to first add your percentage to 100, and then you will get automatically also the new answer. I'll show you with number C. Before the air conditioner is turned on. The temperature of room is 34 degrees. Find the new temperature after a decrease of 35%. Now, if I do it with the other method, I'm going to say, just a second, 100 minus 35. So now I subtract with my percentage. Can you see?
On the Gold Coast of West Africa lies the peaceful and diverse nation of Ghana. I'm pretty close right now to the geographical center of the earth. It is also one of the last pockets for elephants in the wilds of West Africa.
Every country in the world just about has cattle, sheep, goats, horses, donkeys, but it's only Africa that has the real megafauna, the charismatic stuff which people in the rest of the world want to see. The passion that the staff have for their job.
There's value to a bird which brings birders to a place like this. I mean, this is a birding paradise. We see an intrinsic appreciation and joy from seeing the wildlife out here, but not everybody does.
You can't get to Moli and then will not be passionate about what we do, because you'll be the only one left. Everybody is passionate.
The only worthwhile war, the war against destruction, the war against loss, the war for peace, for balance, for inclusion.
It is out of my way. Buffaloes, elephants, tigers, Atabi are still in existence.
If Mole fails, then Ghana is without wildlife.
Join me as we journey to the untamed wilderness of northern Ghana to meet these last defenders.
The people within the law enforcement agencies don't really know you're talking about a roan antelope. Somebody thinks it's just like a goat.
Namibia is known for its beautiful wide open landscapes. However, these deserted spaces also pose numerous educational challenges in our country's rural areas. Because of this, many learners are denied access to proper teaching and learning. At EduVision, we believe that education is the starting point to a journey of endless possibilities.
Soon and very soon, we are going to see e-learning. Soon and very soon, we are going to see.
The plan for EduVision was to identify areas in Namibia that do not have the proper learning resources, a working school or an education center.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, we are going to see e-learning. No more dieting, no more.
My name is Philip Smith. I'm the principal of Educate Academy in Otjiwarongo. The project EduVision, the e-learning program, started in 2017. With a project like this, obviously telecommunication, internet connection is a major thing that needs to be sorted out, a logistical challenge. And the fact that we chose Chunkwe Secondary School as the first school didn't make it easier for ourselves. It's very far from Otjiwarongo, it's far from Buntuk. So the internet connection was a big challenge first of all. So with the help of the telecommunications expert Paratus, they made this dream come true with internet connections via Buntuk, Otjiwarongo to Chunkwe and then back, the whole process. Like I said, it's interactive whiteboard, so the internet speed, capacity of the connectivity and so forth plays a major role. And so Paratus made this dream come true, and they were on board from the first moment. So very grateful for Paratus.
The project offers teaching assistance of a high standard in science to rural secondary schools within the learner's own community by means of e-learning. This entails the following: live transmissions of lessons from an equipped teacher in a different location to the students in rural areas, students using their own cell phone, tablet or computer to recall each lesson, and interactive lessons, as well as the use of a smart board as a teaching aid.
So if you look ahead at the next 3 years, we get information from the Ministry of Education. The future is very bright. So I think there's a lot of schools who can benefit from this program. Like I mentioned before, finances obviously plays a major role in a project like this. So we're very thankful for all the sponsors that are on board and still on board after almost 3 years of the project. So as long as people from the private sector can get involved, I think we can reach many schools in Namibia, because this project made a good start now. We've already seen some positive results, and we can just call on all the private sector corporate sponsors to come on board and join in this very, very positive project.
It is EduVision's goal to prepare and guide learners in order to make the modern world they are living in accessible to all.
My name is Magdalena Neoma. I'm 18 years old and I'm doing my first year at UNAM Comansdale campus, and I completed my grade 12 at Tsongwe Senior Secondary School. I'm doing education, so I'm gonna teach at Tsongwe Secondary School, because there I really need to go there and motivate the learners. EduVision helped me a lot. It assisted us in teaching for mathematics, physical science, and biology. And it also, we get to exchange learning from other schools like Educate, whereby they teach us, and that's the most thing that we benefited from. Studying without EduVision was so challenging. And when EduVision was introduced at our school, things become more easier. The time where EduVision was not introduced, we were so slow in learning. And when EduVision introduced at our school, my learning speed increases. Things were kind of boring, and when EduVision came, my mind changed the way I think. I'm really grateful for what EduVision gave us. Our class of 2019 was the first group to make it to perform very well at Tsongwe Senior Secondary School. So it should keep up the spirit. We need that. It should continue to support us.
EduVision aspires to ensure that equal opportunity is offered to every learner in rural areas to tap into his or her own potential while working in an environment which views disadvantages not as obstacles but as unique attributes that can be regarded as powerful assets when given the proper opportunity. At EduVision, we believe that dreams are the foundation of knowledge, and hope always triumphs over experience.
No more problems. Everything is proper.
Share with us on #LearnOn1. Tell us what you're learning and where you're learning it from. Send us your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better. We always love to hear from you. Send us your views, comments and videos with your name and town to the One Africa TV's WhatsApp on 081 200 6659 or send an SMS to 555. One Africa TV. It just gets better.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my baby. Hello, my sweet. Hello, my baby. Yes, yes. Hello, my baby. Hello, my sweet. Hello, my baby. Yes, yes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Another tourist guide spectacular. By the way, I'm Mr. Mapoya. I got Wumpis on the hook right here. And oh yes, that is the legendary Ladysmith Black Mambazo. Papa used to tell me just take it easy. Izimba bakula na vena bleka mambazo. Uchiche my style you hold yenda koso. I take it slow and don't go too fast. Now see my baby sakuwamba newe. It will be worth your while now. Yes. Not taking no for an answer, except Nima I'm a lover, my friend is net swerve. Sekusana nime my name, Munu Muhinde. Saka better time and place and let's fly. The ladies go crazy off me, honey, yes. Doing this a proper job with a smile. Once I'm done, they call me Big Papa. Yeah!